having me here. I really appreciate it, and I commend you all for doing something and standing up for our rights. Yes, I'm Octavio Blanco. I was a media relations specialist with the IRS, which means, I know the IRS is not the most beloved arm of the government, but my job was really to explain new rules, regulations, and also to represent the IRS in front of the media. I was in charge of Maine, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. I'd only been there for 5 months. I was a new hire. Previously, I was a journalist for 20 years at CNN, and also here locally at Consumer Reports. I was a probationary worker, which means that in your first year of work, if you're not doing your job, the government has more latitude to let you go for cause. However, the government does not have latitude to let you go because they are doing cost cutting. That's a whole different process, which I was not given the benefit of. On February 20th, my manager, through her own tears, called me and told me, that was a Wednesday, and told me that on Thursday, I needed to come in, bring my my government's issued equipment, and that would be my last day of work. I didn't receive any severance, and I only have my health insurance through what I've paid. So I've paid through this month, and at the end of the month, I will lose that as well. My wife works, and so I hope that I will be able to get onto her health insurance, and because she works, I'm in a better position than a lot of my colleagues who sometimes they're single moms, they're by themselves, they don't know what they're going to do, they may have to sell their homes, if they're renting, they don't know how they're going to pay the rent. Some of them are doing other jobs that paid far less than what I was making, and they may not have the savings that others might have. So it's a really, really tough place for many, many, many federal workers. I was lucky that, even though it's a scary time that I'm speaking out and I'm making myself known as somebody who was impacted, that I was invited to Washington to the speech that Trump gave before the joint session of Congress. I sat in the gallery, and I was the only Democrat amongst a group of Republicans where I was sitting. We had to arrive 2 hours in advance, so we had plenty of time to sort of get to know each other. And the reason that I was there was to represent myself, my beliefs, and also to be representative of the federal workers who have been fired. And so I took it upon myself to go there on a diplomatic mission. And so it was my intention to present myself as a person, as a fellow American, and as a human, and to hope that that would be received, which I think it was. I wrote about this, and Micha, if you want to share that with the group later, you can put it out on the newsletter, that would be great. I do think that we are in an interesting political time. We're all angry. I'm angry. I hated every second of that speech. It was horrible. But previous to the speech, I wanted people to see me as an individual and as a human. And yelling at each other and cursing at each other is not going to do it. Al Green did a great thing. He stood up for our anger, and he represented that really, really well. We need that. And we also need to speak to each other, continue to speak to each other, even though we think the other side might be beyond reaching. Why do we always have to turn the other cheek? I don't know, but I know that we're on the right side of history. And I think that's why we need to turn the other cheek sometimes and continue to reach out, because we are on the right side of history. And so I encourage everybody here to work through that uncomfortableness, right? The discomfort. Be okay being uncomfortable. Continue to try and have conversation. I think it's necessary because when that conversation breaks down, there's really not a lot of other options. I'm pissed. I'm very angry. I would like to yell and scream and be forceful in what I'm saying. And I will be sticking to my beliefs. I will continue to speak out against injustice, the kind of injustice and fascism that we're seeing today. I'm in a precarious position because I'm looking for work, right? But I'm on the right side of history. And I believe that in my core. And everybody in this room is also on the right side of history. And you should believe that in your core. And continue to try to find common ground, even if it's uncomfortable, and even if it fails. And also keep standing up for what is right. Thank you very much.